Now, the strategy that Robert Greene teach in this video is something that I do in my life. And I'm gonna tell you how I do it, and hopefully you guys can learn from how I do it to do it in your life. But pretty much what he's talking about is something that I do unconsciously. And I'm gonna explain to you guys how I do it after this.
We can become incredibly lazy because there's no necessity. So you have to create necessity in your life. You have to create the need to get things done.
Right, what he's pretty much saying is put your money where your mouth is. Put some pressure on yourself. Humans only really do things when they're pressured to do it.
It's easy to be lazy if you don't have any emotional connection to what you're involved in. I'll give the example that I have personally is when I lived in France, I had spent years learning French in the university, but it never really sunk in because I wasn't paying deep attention to it. It didn't mean so much to me. But there I was in Paris. I had to struggle. I had to survive. I had to get a job. I had to get a girlfriend. And suddenly, because I had to do it, because it was important to me, because it was necessary, because it was what I call death ground. Either learn French or get the hell out. You're not going to be able to survive. I learned I wasn't lazy. So your laziness is something that has to do with you. You're not connected to something deep.
Well, that's the thing is that it's not that you're lazy. It's just that you have shitty conditions. Nothing in your environment is pressuring you. So because of that, you're not. So it's either that you have environmental pressures or you create environmental pressures. Animals only evolve, in other words, upgrade, only because there's a necessity. Usually an animal may not evolve for millions of years and then put it in a new environment, and all of a sudden it is forced to evolve. For example, with me, I do YouTube videos. If you notice, back then I used to make like 1 or 2 YouTube videos per day. Now that I realized I needed to make more videos, you know what I did? I hired editors. I have 3 editors, and sometimes they come in and I don't even need a video done. And because I know they're coming in, you know what I do? I make a video. Them being here forces me to be more productive. Them being here forces me to come up with more ideas. If my editor is coming right now and I don't have a video and she's coming in 10 minutes, then guess what? In those 10 minutes, I'm going to make a video. And this environmental pressure forces me to be productive. It gives me the energy. Like, for example, I'm getting older. I want to get in shape. I don't want to get older and be skinny. So because of that, my knowledge of my death is forcing me to go to the gym more often. I became fat at one point. And I was like 195 pounds at one point. And I didn't want to lose weight until I saw that I was pre-diabetic. And then I Googled that when you're pre-diabetic and you become diabetic, that's not reversible. Pressure. All of a sudden now there's pressure. Now all of a sudden I started walking 3 hours a day to lose 30 pounds in 2 months. Why? The environmental pressure. I saw how much of a fat ass I was. And then I realized the situation that I was in, and I saw that if I didn't do something now, I was going to become diabetic. Death grounds, you have to put yourself in those situations. For example, I play basketball. The one time when I did like drills that I don't like dribbling drills, is when I said, if I'm going to do 15 minutes of basketball handling drills for 30 days straight. If I don't do it, if I miss one day, I'm going to donate $500 to my least favorite charity. And you know what happened? I fucking did it. And you know what happened afterwards? I didn't do it again. Why? Because I didn't put the pressure on myself. I said to myself, I want to get better handles, but I know damn well how I could do it. Put in pressure. Put that same, do the same thing I did. But what happens? I don't do that. Right? So it's kind of like, really, productivity is in your hand. How much you really want to work, it's in your hand. You just have to put yourself in those psychological death grounds.
Deep enough. You don't feel the necessity. You don't feel the devil at your heels. You don't feel the fact that you could very well die tomorrow that will impel you to get something done. There's no necessity behind it. And the human animal, the way we were created, is when we feel pressure, we feel the necessity to get things done. Mm-hmm. We can move mountains, and we had plenty of examples of that in history. But when that pressure, almost like a barometric pressure, releases, and we don't feel the need to get something done, We could become incredibly lazy because there's no necessity. So you have to create necessity in your life. You have to
And if you're alone and you're lazy, well, you gotta find a way to do it, man. Like maybe there's a girl or guy that you like, work out, but you don't know how to do it. Well, then tell yourself that if you work out, that guy's gonna like you. Even if it may not be true, a part of you will believe it and gain enough energy to work out. Maybe you don't eat your vegetables, and then I'll be honest with you, using vain, superficial reasons to eat healthy kind of works. If somebody tells you eating your vegetables makes you hotter, a lot of people will eat their vegetables. But it's not about being hotter. It's about knowing what gets you to do work. For example, I used to study in school not because I wanted good grades, but because I wanted to participate in class. So so rather than say I want good grades, I say, okay, I want to participate tomorrow, and I will study. Boom. You got to know what pushes you, man. Or else you're not going to be productive.
create
It
the
just doesn't.
need to get things done. You have to give yourself deadlines. You have to remind yourself that tomorrow everything could go kaput. COVID could come back. You could be fired. You could die. You could have an illness. Give yourselves a sense of urgency that I need to get things done quickly. And then when it comes to making decisions, a lot of time what afflicts people is this idea of, I'm not ready. I'm not ready to start my own business. I'm not ready to quit this job. I'm not ready to break up with my relationship, which is toxic or whatever. Give me another few months. I've got to prepare myself. I want you to get this idea that you are ready, that you have to try and do things before you think you are ready, right? If you think, well, I'm not prepared to start this business. I need to go back to business school. I need to learn more and more. Shut up and do it. Just jump in the water. You will learn more by starting before you think you are ready. By making that decision, your brain will kick into action. You will discover all this energy that you had that you didn't think you had. So make the decision before you think you're ready is the other thing. The final thing I would say is laziness is not all that bad. I must confess that I have moments of laziness. If I was always intense, if I was always on trying to write my books, I would probably be dead by now. And actually, I almost did die because of that. And I've learned over the years to always kind of incorporate moments and hours so where I waste the hell out of time. I'm looking on sports websites, etc. I'm surfing for this or that. I'm reading things that aren't really important. It's important sometimes to take downtime and let your brain unload and not be so focused and on.
Yeah, even I meditate. But sometimes even when you meditate, you want to not meditate and just do crazy shit, do silly shit, because it's the way your brain works. It cannot just be on mode all the time.